This is something that holds us, where our mission is to bring people closer to their emotions through conversations about our life experiences, to understand not only who we are, but who we want to be. Today I have joining me.
Alysha Noss,
Thank you for taking the time to join me, Alicia.
thank you for having me here.
Um, I don't need to ask you this because you're somebody that I feel is faithful, a
Yes,
big supporter of mine. I appreciate that. So we're just gonna kick it off.
sure,
How
sounds
are you?
good.
How are you feeling today?
I am feeling anxious, but definitely proud of myself.
Um, on a scale of 1 to 10, how anxious are you?
Definitely a 10.
Definitely a 10.
Definitely a 10. So
All right.
this is something that is definitely outside of my comfort zone.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna check back in with you later about that. Okay.
Thank you. How are you feeling today?
I feel rejuvenated, well rested, very relaxed.
Those are some good feelings.
Yes, yes, they are. It's been a busy couple of weeks where I'm getting myself back together. What's your goal for today or this week?
So I was been thinking about that, and I definitely think that this is definitely the beginning of something that I want to be a goal for me. So just having my voice heard, because I often tend to like fall back into the crowd. I don't like to speak up and share my thoughts and ideas. So I think like moving forward, I definitely want to take time to push myself outside of my comfort zone and do things like this and have my voice be heard.
What? Oh, sorry. Before I ask that question,
Mhm.
who can you ask for help?
I would definitely say that I have a lot of support from my fiance Andre, who you have the pleasure of knowing. Definitely, my brother and his girlfriend play a big part in my life, and I'm very thankful to have my fiance's family as a big support. I think that that is something that has been a challenge for me, like for the past year, because with losing my grandparents, I lost a sense of community that I'm trying to still heal from.
That's deep. I appreciate you for sharing about the loss of your grandparents and the journey of recreating a community that works for you.
Yeah.
Um, I have to ask. You said, can you reiterate your goal for me?
I think my goal would be to put myself in these uncomfortable situations that encourage me to find my voice.
What did something happen recently that made you want to find your voice?
Um, I think I just noticed that about myself, and I think I'm really good at setting short-term goals for myself, if that makes sense. And I think I want to find something that I could do more long term, and it's something definitely something that like has affected me since I was young. Like with going to school and having to do like presentations, like those are always things that I tended to avoid. And like I think like through getting my like master's in education, um, I often heard the question like, why do you have so much trouble talking in front of crowds and in front of people, but yet you want to be a teacher? And I think that that's something that like deeply affected me because I'm like, I'm teaching in front of 5-year-olds who don't judge me. Like no matter what I say, no matter what
Yeah.
I do, when I walk into the room the next day, they're gonna say Miss Noss and come running with big hugs and smiles.
Hmm.
Whereas like people are different. Like people are going to listen to what I say and have their own opinion on it. So I think that like just knowing that about myself and even through like at work, like, we do things at work and I've often noticed about myself, like I am the one out of my kindergarten teaching team that does not often speak up. So like if we're having planning meetings, like I've noticed that like I'll sit there and I have to really like encourage myself, like, hey, like you should chime in, like this is a really good idea. So just feeling comfortable enough to put my voice out there.
I think that's great that you've been able to acknowledge it and take an initiative because
Right.
I think this is a huge step, and if you've also like pinpointed various aspects in your life that you can take other steps in as
Right.
well. So good luck to you on your
Thank
journey.
you.
And I definitely plan to check back in the future to see
Absolutely.
how that's going.
I
Maybe I'll, I'll,
appreciate that.
I'll, I'll check back in with myself and 10 strangers. So you talk in front of a group.
Absolutely.
Um, can you tell me one fact about yourself?
So I think a fact that people usually find surprising is I don't drink coffee or alcohol.
Yes, that is a very
Yes.
interesting fact. Some would say, how did you get through the mornings and how do you get through the nights?
Right. I don't know, like it's never been like I feel like for the alcohol at least like I've been around it so much that like I've seen like a negative side towards it and like I think that that more so like drives me away from it.
So you've never tried it either?
Um I would say like not extensively like I've like oh let me just taste this wine that Andre has just to see what it tastes like but
Hmm.
not like to drink it. No.
How did it taste?
Not good.
Not good?
Not good.
So
No,
nothing
because I
about.
think I already had in my head that I wasn't going to like it. So
Okay, okay. Um,
and I think like the coffee, like I don't really prefer like hot drinks. It's like once in a while, like if it's very cold, I'll drink like hot chocolate, but I don't think I have a desire to even try it.
so you never tried coffee?
No. I've baked with it before, but
Not
never.
even like iced coffee because you said you don't like hot.
No, I've never tried it.
I mean, more power to you. It seems like you whatever it is that's working for you to keep you up in the day and enjoy your weekends and your
Yeah.
evenings. I think that's great for you.
Thank you.
Um, you said that you're trying to identify like all these different people that are able to support you in your goal, right?
Yes.
So could you tell me like who or what is your community and how has that changed since you were young?
So I think, like I said, a big part of my community right now would definitely be my fiance Andre and his family. I know that like if I'm going through anything, I need someone to talk to. Like I can always count on them. Like my brother and his girlfriend, like are definitely there to play a strong role too. Again, like I know I can always count on them. I think more so, my grandparents played like such a huge role in my life, which has its positives and also its negatives. So I feel like I don't know, like maybe that some of the things that they thought were they were doing that were good for me actually set me up for failure, if that makes sense.
Could you elaborate?
Sure. So I think that like my grandmother in particular, like I was very close with her. We did everything together. And I know that like she always had my best interests at heart, but I feel as though almost as though like she coddled me. And
Mm,
so like through losing her, I felt like I lost my entire world. So then it was like learning to like live all over again. So like an example of that would be like my grandmother was very big on like she did not like driving. So like she had her license but didn't like to drive. Like she refused to drive on the highway. So that was something that she instilled in me was the highway is not safe. Like do whatever you can, take the back roads. Like even when I was getting my master's degree, even though I had my license, she insisted that my grandfather still drive me there. So I think that like when they were gone, I was like, okay, like I can't have Andre driving me to work. Like I have to like get my act together and like drive on the highway, like figure it out. Like so I think that was like a huge like factor for me.
dang, you can tell she really loved you a lot, but
Yes.
you don't realize how something like that can affect you in
Right.
the future. So how long did you just recently start driving on the highway? Like how recent is this?
It would be about a year ago when she like when my grandmother passed away that I really put it forth. And I think too, which I haven't said to her, like Andre's mom definitely put a role in it too because during that time, like when my grandmother was sick, Andre and I were trying to look for a place together. And I remember like he had his phone on speakerphone, and I remember his mom saying something at the time that hurt me. But then like later on, I looked back at it and I'm like, okay, like she definitely had like my best interests at heart because I think that like Andre was trying to accommodate me, and he was like, okay, like let's try to find a place that's closer to Naugatuck because it was closer to where I was working at the time. And his mom was like realistic about it. And she's like, no, like Alysha has to pull her weight. Like she has to, figure out how to drive on the highway. Like she has to make it happen. I remember like sitting there for a while and I was like, okay, like that definitely hurt. But then like I was able to look at that and like motivate myself. I'm like, okay, like she's right. Like I have to make this happen.
That is true.
Hmm.
Side note, I also know Andre's mom, and I
Yes.
absolutely love that lady.
Oh, yes,
One of
me
the
too.
funniest people I've ever met in my life, and
Yes.
just so authentic. Like
Hmm.
it's addicting. Like
Right.
it's like
It
it's
absolutely
like
is.
it's like a high being around people that are just unapologetically themselves.
Yes.
You
She
know,
will see whatever is on her mind. She definitely will. Can
and
always
sometimes
count on her for that.
sometimes we need to hear that. So that
Absolutely.
that was like that kick in the behind that you needed.
It was definitely was.
Um, I want to talk a little bit about your grandma. You said that you feel like she coddled you, but I'm sure she didn't have any bad intentions with that.
No.
So what are one of your fondest memories of being with your grandma?
Oh, so I think that would definitely be Christmas time. My grandmother absolutely loved Christmas. She was all about Christmas. Like that was such a big thing in our house, like making sure that like we had our decorations up, like we would go Christmas shopping every night. Like um she had like this big thing like she loved to do like Christmas Eve, like she would always give my brother and I like new Christmas pajamas, and like she did that every year up until she passed away. And like she always made Christmas like this big thing. And I remember like once I reached a certain age, I said to her, I'm like, you're like literally our living room would be full of presents. Like she would just continue to
Your
buy.
grandma?
Like yes, like excessive. And I remember like as I got older, I was like looking at the situation. I'm like, these are all things. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not necessary, but like it was in her heart. So like even though I went to her, I'm like, you don't have to like go crazy and buy all these things. Like she's still like that was who she was. Like she wanted to make Christmas special every year for my brother and I.
That's awesome. Does do your brother and you have, or did you do and your brother? Did you and your brother have the same relationship with your grandparents?
Um, I would say yes and no. I feel as though maybe I was closer with my grandmother and my brother was closer with my grandfather.
Okay, that's reasonable. You said that you're recreating your community so that you have people that can continue to support you, and people that I assume that you reach out to support.
Yes.
Are these people aware that they're in your community, or are these just people that like you identify for yourself personally?
Hmm. I would say that they would be aware. I would hope that they would be aware.
What makes you think that?
You're challenging me now. Just that like I feel as though I'm really good at checking in with others.
Uh-huh.
So I would hope that like because I check in with them and I see that they check in with me, that like that would build that sense of community. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Okay.
Does it creates a cycle.
Right.
Um, how do you check in on your people, or if you're giving
I
a tip
think
to some other people?
I think I'm a really good listener. Like I'm not really a good speaker, but I'm a really good listener. So I tend to like listen into like the little details that people say. And
Uh-huh.
if I hear someone say like, "Oh, I have something big coming up," or "I have a goal for myself," like I will then make that like my goal. Like, hey, let me check in with this person. Like I know they have this going on, or I know they're not feeling well. Like sometimes with my coworkers at work, like they're not feeling well, so let me make sure that I check in with them and see if they need anything. So I think just making myself aware of, what they're going through in their life.
That's a great way. Thank you for that, and I hope some people take note because listening is so much more important than speaking,
Yes.
especially to your community.
Right.
Can you tell me about a most recent challenge you overcame?
So I think that again, like that would be like losing my grandparents. Like I feel like it's still something that like is difficult for me today. Like I think like I'm still not fully healed from that loss. And I think like there's little things that will happen and that like kind of trigger it. So like I think like the most recent thing would be like when I was having car trouble a few weeks ago. So like whenever I had difficulty or something was wrong, like I always had my grandparents to call like what should I do about this? My grandfather was always really good about it, like figuring things out, and like I think just knowing like hey, like I don't have someone now that I could like call like I used to. I think is like a challenge that still affects me, or like when I know that like something's coming up that's difficult for me, like my grandmother used to be like my go-to for advice, so like to know that like no, like I can't pick up the phone and call her, like I have to like figure this out on my own.
Did you just make that transition um, seamlessly, or was there somebody that you went to attempt to bridge that gap?
So I think that like a lot of that pressure in the very beginning I did put on Andre, which I think Andre was very good about like helping me find more independence because like as you know, like Andre is a very independent person. So like he was definitely like a realistic factor for me. Like he was able to look at the situation and be like, "Hey, like I'm telling you like it's not as bad as you think." And so like I feel like he has really helped me grow in that and not being so like dependent on my grandparents.
Okay. So shout out to Andre
Definitely shout out to Andre.
for pushing you to be a more independent and reliable person for yourself.
Right.
Um, would you be able to answer? Would you be able to give me a pivotal life experience or something that shaped who you are today?
Again, like I think that no,
No,
something
I
different.
need something different, man.
Okay, let me think. Um, it's a hard one.
You can go back to at any point in your life, even when you were young. Something that just um, gave you a quality or a trait that you felt like was very important to you.
Okay, so I think that like, which kind of touches on my grandparents, but not to its
So
full
it's
effect.
okay.
So,
It's
but
okay. Just if,
you can tell me if it's acceptable. If it's not acceptable, I'll come up
could
with a new
you
answer for you.
your grandmother sounds like a very special woman. So could you, if you're comfortable, give her a shout out by name?
Yes. So, um, I always called my grandmother since I was little. I called her Bam.
Bam.
Yes, BAM.
BAM.
So shout out to Bam.
Okay. Shout out to Bam.
Yes. So, I think for a pivotal moment would be the fact that I was not raised by my parents. So, and that's something that is difficult for me to talk about. Um, I think just through knowing like the reason behind why I was not raised by my parents is something that definitely motivates me to be a better person. So being able to like reflect back and look at some of those things that like I faced in my childhood, like constantly questioning like, why does my mom choose this over me? I think is something that like I definitely carry with me, and I'm like I don't want anyone who is a part of my community to ever feel that.
And is that something that you're willing to go into?
Um, Depends on the question.
Why weren't you raised by your parents?
So I think that some of the choices that my parents made um, kind of affected that. So like I don't, yeah, I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, and that's more than okay. Whenever you're ready to talk more about it, if you want to come back or if you want to talk in private, I'm here for you.
I do, and I appreciate that.
Um, so you were raised from with by your grandmother and grandfather.
Yes,
How old were you, or do you remember staying with them?
we were with my grandparents our whole life. So like my mom was in and out. Like some days she would be home, some days she would be out.
Mm-hmm.
But like it was definitely like my brother would definitely be in agreement that like everything that we were given and provided with definitely came from our grandparents.
Okay, I, I understand more and more as we talk why that relationship is so special. And Bam sounds like an amazing woman to want to make Christmas special for you every year, regardless of it.
Right. Yes,
Um,
and my grandfather too. Like my grandparents were very like they were very selfless people. Like they always wanted to give. Like whatever they could do for me and my brother like was just like it made them happy. So like definitely like I don't know that like I noticed it so much in the moment, but like looking back at the situation, my grandfather had a lot of health issues.
mhm.
And like I can vividly remember like I had a goal in high school to get perfect attendance, and like I wanted to do whatever I could to get that. And I could remember him like going through chemo, like he had bladder cancer, and like that was something that was definitely painful for him. And like being able to like get up in the morning and not like show any of that pain and like make sure that I got to school because he wanted me to get that perfect attendance. So like they always put my brother and I first. And like looking back at that, like that's something that I'm like, I don't know that I ever really like sat down with them and had that opportunity to like thank them for all that those things that they did for me.
That's so
And that's
beautiful.
definitely like a regret.
That is so beautiful.
Oh,
Like shout
thank
out,
you.
Steve. Now we need his name too. Shout out to Grandpa. What's his name?
I used to call him Pap.
Pap. Shout out to
Mhm.
Bam and Pap.
Thank you. I
Oh,
appreciate
they
that.
sound like like amazing
people. Thank you.
And I'm happy that you got to experience people like that in your life.
Me too. And I think like I don't know, like I think just like the way that I lost them, like it was just so unexpected. So
Mm-hmm.
like I tend to like tell people like be careful. Like you don't know when the last time is that you're gonna see someone because like I had never imagined that like that day when I walked out the door, like that would be the last time I would see my grandmother. So like that's definitely something that like I recommend to everyone is like make sure that like you tell the person like that's in your community, in your family that you love and appreciate them because you never know.
That's deep. I really thank you for sharing.
Problem.
Well, I appreciate you. And you know that.
Thank
I haven't
you.
known you very long, but conversations that we've seemed to have been very helpful for me as well. And I want
Oh,
you to
I'm
know
glad
that.
to hear that.
Um,
And like I said, I really think that what you're doing here with this podcast and giving a safe space for people to come on and share their story is very motivational as well.
Thank you.
No
Um, what makes you angry?
problem. Ooh, I don't know. That's a tricky one. I don't know that I really get angry. I think I don't even know that I can think of a time. Like I'm very like I might feel more disappointed than angry.
That's understandable. So, would you want to share a time that you were last disappointed, or just be general about what makes you disappointed?
Um, I think what makes me disappointed is when people are not honest.
People are not honest.
Yes. Like I really love honesty and like I think just like growing up with um I don't know, like kind of like touching on that like what I talked about with my parents, like there were a lot of like broken promises, like things that were said that like I held on to like for years and then like to like look back at that now and be like okay, like they just were not being honest. I think looking at that like and reflecting on that like makes me want to be a more honest person. So I think, and then I think when I'm honest, then I expect like whoever I'm talking to be honest with me too. And then when I don't see that, like sometimes it's hard to like internalize that. Like, does that make sense?
When you don't see the reciprocation of honesty,
Right.
it hurts.
Yes.
I get that. Um, how do you feel any anxiety or emotions when you're being honest with somebody, but you have to tell them something that you know they're not going to want to hear?
I don't think so. Like, I think I'm very like, I would want someone to tell me something that I didn't want to hear. So I think knowing that, I'm like, okay, like if I were that person in that situation, like what would I want someone to say to me?
Hmm. I feel like it seems very childish, but my friend mentioned this to me the other day. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like my generation, I'm turning 31 in February. I don't know how old you are. You don't have to share that right now.
I'll be 28 tomorrow.
28 tomorrow?
Yes.
Tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Get the heck out of here.
Yes.
What are you doing? Oh, let me get. You have to tell me what you're doing for your birthday if you have any plans. But before I get distracted, I feel like a lot of people around our age group operate from the golden rule, like treat others how you want to be
Yes.
treated, you know?
Hmm.
But like I was having a conversation with my friend Sky. It's like you can't expect yourself from other people,
I get that.
you know?
Yes.
And like my friend Jakai mentioned, like this something about like the platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated,
Oh, I'd
you
be
know?
interested in hearing more about that.
And I think makes a lot of sense. 'Cause it's very hard to uh treat people how you want to be treated and then implicitly hope that they treat you like that. It's
Right.
kind of crazy,
No, it is.
you know?
Now that you say it, like now that I think about it.
You know, it's like, well, I was hoping that you picked up on this. No, like if you're honest and you want something to be very direct, you can be very direct with them as well.
Right.
Um, it's just I that was interesting to me to think about. But your birthday's tomorrow.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Um, Nothing major. Like I have work, so I'll be teaching in the morning for
Do
sure.
you have anything that you want to do for your birthday?
I'm definitely gonna go out with my fiance and my brother and his girlfriend. After work.
Okay, that's gonna be nice. Are you gonna have? Are you gonna try Andres wine again?
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
No.
Okay, well, when this is out, it's gonna be a happy belated birthday
Yes,
to you,
definitely.
and
Thank
I
you.
I hope that you enjoyed your day,
Thank you.
and don't push yourself too hard during this week. You definitely should relax a little
Yes.
bit. Call out if you need to.
Oh, I had 2 days out last week for being sick, so
Okay,
I have to push
maybe you
myself through.
you'll feel under the weather tomorrow. Maybe, who knows?
Maybe. We'll see.
Um, this next section of the podcast is where I go over the Book of Human Emotions by Tiffany Watts Smith. I don't really need to ask you if you know what this emotion is, but I want to ask you, when was the last time you felt it? Guilt.
Oh. So I think I don't know. That's a tough question. I think for me to answer because I know what it is. Like I know what the feeling would be. I think it's just something that's hard to talk about. So I think like kind of like what I said. Like when I didn't realize like my grandmother was not sick the last time that like I was with her. So I think like there was something that like happened in that moment. So I kind of like have to tell the whole story, I guess, for it to make sense. So like um I had caught COVID,
Hmm.
like when like before my grandmother had gotten sick, and I remember like I had caught it from Andre, and he knows that. So like we were out, and it's kind of like a funny story when you think about it. And like we had tried this new like ice cream place, and like I remember he was eating his ice cream, and he's like, "Oh, it doesn't taste like anything." He's like, I definitely don't like it." And I'm like, "Here, like this was like when COVID was like brand new." So I'm like, "Oh, like really? It doesn't taste like anything? Like let me try it." So yeah, so like I said, kind of funny.
Don't try to blame Andre.
No,
Don't
no,
blame
it
Andre for
definitely
that.
was me. You're
That
right.
was
You're
all
right. It was
you.
me. It was me. So like I was like, oh, like let me try it. So then like he had found out that like he had COVID. So then I was like worried about myself.
Hmm.
And like obviously at that time I was living with my grandparents. So like I was worried about their well being too. And then when I had tested positive, I was like, okay, like Andre was living in Stanford at the time. So I'm like, I definitely should maybe go quarantine with him to prevent my grandparents from getting it. So like my grandparents were like they obviously like they showed a lot of love like through their actions, but they were not really ones that were big on words. So like we didn't really say like I love you too much growing up, and like that's something now that I look back on and I'm like that definitely would have been something that like I wished I had said. So like my grandmother, like being the type of person that she was, like even though she knew I had COVID and I had tested positive, she didn't want me to leave. And I remember her saying to me, like, oh, like, it's okay. Like, just stay in your room. Like, I'll put things outside your door. Like, you don't have to go. But I was like, why not? Like, Andre has it anyways. Like, I'll stay with him. Like, that way I don't have to, like, risk, like, you guys catching it here. And, like, I think, like, looking back at that moment, like, she did not. And I remember, like, as I was going out the door, like, she said, I love you. And, like, to me, I was like, okay, like, I thought, like, I'm like, where did that come from? Because, like I said, we didn't really say that word. And I did say it back, but like then like the next day like she had called me and she's like, oh, like I'm not feeling well. So like I think definitely like I feel guilty maybe leaving. Like I know that like it wouldn't have changed anything, but like maybe I would have had like another day with her, you know.
Yeah, I understand. But like you said, you didn't know,
Right.
you know? And
Right.
there's nothing that you could have done differently without the information.
Hmm.
And I think that's what makes the whole platinum rule so important. It it makes us be accountable of telling others how we want to be treated, what we need from them in
Right.
those moments, you know?
Hmm.
Rather than just showing up and hoping somebody gets the hint that I need somebody to show up for me.
Right. That makes sense.
I appreciate you sharing all
Of
of that.
course.
Shout out to Bam again. If I had one of those sound things, we'd have an
Yes.
applause for Bam.
Absolutely.
Um,
And I think it's confirmation too. Like I was talking to Andre about it this morning because like this like coming on here, like being a part of a podcast is definitely something that's outside of my comfort zone. And I think like I definitely crossed my mind because I don't know, like my grandmother was a very private person too. So
mhm.
like I thought about that. I'm like, would she want me to go on a podcast and like share about her? But then like things will happen and I'm like, is that a sign? Like yesterday, like you for example, like you told me where your happy place is. And like your happy place would definitely have been her happy place. So I'm like, okay, like is this a sign that like this is definitely something that's meant to be?
um, Stories are all gifts, and
Right.
gifts are meant to be given.
Yes.
you know. So like share it, and it's so much life in it that somebody out there can relate to it, you know? Like even
Right.
just when I mentioned my happy place and you're like, "Oh, that was hers."
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure we would have had a great time hitting all the
Yes.
Goodwills in
Oh,
Connecticut.
absolutely. Absolutely. She would have loved that. But how
Uh,
about you? Like, have you ever felt that emotion, guilt? What would you say for yourself?
um yeah, I have felt it. I feel it actually right now, and I'm kind of struggling with it on like not necessarily doing something wrong, but doing what I feel like is best for me,
Okay.
but it meaning that I have to kind of like push somebody else away or give myself some space from the other person. And the other person, I mean, it's not necessarily their choice in that. So I kind of feel guilty that I'm kind of pushing this person away. And I don't want to say I have all the reasons to,
Hmm.
but it's emotionally how I feel right now where when my emotions run too high, rather than getting into arguments and looking for all these different answers, sometimes I need to just remove everything,
Okay.
get myself back to a calm space, and then I can address it. But in the time frame that I take to remove everything, I feel guilty to like I'm like kind of punishing the other person because I'm processing my emotions right now.
Okay.
So that's where I feel guilt in this moment.
So do you think that could be like a situation where you've outgrown this person or just like something temporarily where you just need to take a break to figure things out?
I think I need to take a break to figure things out because I don't think it's a situation where I've outgrown this person because we have I don't know I can't explain what we have, but it's a good bond, you know.
Hmm.
It's a good bond. We're able to talk about things, all that stuff, but things are very different now. So
Okay.
maybe I need to take a step back to reassess and take inventory of what is,
Right.
and then I can decide on how I move forward.
Okay.
Um, but that's a very interesting question. Have you outgrown it? I don't think it's that.
Okay.
I think we just grew in different ways.
Right. That makes sense.
Um, but I appreciate you for
Oh,
asking
no
that back.
problem.
When was the last time you cried?
Um, I would say like definitely during like Christmas break. I think it was hard. Like I find like myself more like when I'm like missing my grandparents when I have nothing to do. So like I try to like keep myself extra busy so I can keep my mind off of things. And I think that like having that week off from work, like and it being Christmas time on top of it, which I said was like one of my special times with my grandparents, like I think it's definitely hard to like sit there and see the tree and like to know that like you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have them to celebrate Christmas with. So I think that was the last time that I had cried and then I was like, okay, like I can't just sit here and feel sorry for myself. Like they're in a better place. Like I have to like, you know, do things to make myself happy.
That's great. What was the last thing you did to make yourself happy?
Was the last thing I did.
Uh-huh.
I love to bake, so like I had some time baking yesterday. That definitely made me happy. I had
Okay.
the privilege of baking with you.
We had a great time.
We
I
did.
made some oatmeal cookies. I
Yes.
actually ate the whole box, but whatever. That's
I'm
that's
glad you enjoyed them.
that's life.
That's all that matters, right?
Andre helped too, though.
He
We
did.
gotta give him his credit where it's due.
Yes, yes, he's really good. He's a great help.
Um, who or what in your life makes you smile?
So, definitely my dogs. I love my dogs. Like I love like when I have a rough day at work and I come home and like I know like as soon as I open up that door like I'm gonna have two tails that like are
Hmm.
wagging out of control, happy to see me.
What are their names?
I have a puggle Jax
Uh-huh.
and I have a Shy Spaniel Milo.
You have an Instagram account for your dogs.
I do.
You don't want to shout it out?
No, it's okay.
Oh, you didn't even want to give your dogs a shout out of name, and you
Yes,
love them,
I do love
so
them.
called.
I do.
I'm gonna tell Jackson and Milo about this.
Okay. They love you, so I'm sure. Well,
Well,
Jax at least, right?
Jax, right?
Yes.
Uh,
He actually on my way here he escaped out the door.
He's getting out a lot with you guys. We gotta have a
Yes.
conversation about that.
Yes, he definitely wanted to come along here.
Um, what does self care mean to you, and how do you practice it?
So I think that's something that's new for me. I think that's something that I need to do more of. So I think self care, it's important to just take care of who you are and like find the things that you're passionate about and the things that you enjoy. So like for me, that would be like taking time to bake. And honestly, like I think that like that's something that like you've helped me with because I don't like to bake and like I tend to bake things and let them sit. So like to know that like I could bake for you and like you're gonna appreciate it or you're gonna bring it to work and your students are gonna appreciate it. Like that has helped me take care of myself because I enjoy doing it. I think like I enjoy going to the dog park. So like if I had a rough day, I'm like okay, like let me like get the dogs and go to the dog park and like forget about everything that like happened today. Um, I also enjoy doing my own nails. So like I try to like make that a thing like every 2 weeks. Like I buy all the colors I like, all like the gemstones I like to use, and like that's definitely like a time for me to like decompress.
How did you learn to do your own nails? Is that trial and error thing, or how old are
Yes.
you?
No, like I just recently like just a few months ago actually I started to do my own. I don't know like cuz I think like going like I don't know how to explain it, but like I'm not a person that likes touch. So I think like I loved having my nails done, like the act of actually going and having someone like work on my nails for like an hour was like full of anxiety for me. So I was like, you know what, like why am I doing this? Like I'm a very creative person. Like I can definitely figure this out on my own. So like and I feel like the more I do it, the better I get.
Mm. I love going to the nail salon for that time.
Yes.
I need to go back. I spent a little bit. I got thrown off with the break.
Right. Right.
Um,
What would you say that self-care means to you?
this is my podcast. I'm the one asking the questions here. No, I'm
Okay.
just kidding. But
No, it's all right.
self care means to me, just a way to get yourself back to equilibrium or calibration.
Mhm.
Like when you find yourself off center, you do one of the things that push you back there. Like if you're sad, self care for me could be talking to a close friend,
Okay.
going for a walk, going to the library,
Mhm.
going to Goodwill, hitting the gym.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like that one, right?
I do.
But it could be I gotta get better at practicing my self care just for the sake of it, not being off calibrated. Like
Right.
I was having a good run from like September to December, but that week off, like you said, it
Mhm.
threw off so much of my routine.
Okay.
So like this week, I'm really I didn't fall off on everything, but I'm really getting back into the swing of things.
Right.
So self care to me is just doing the things that I tell myself I'm going to do, and that usually brings me back to center.
Okay. I like that. I like how you explain that.
Um, yes, yes. What does happiness look like to you?
So I think happiness is like doing things that you enjoy, doing things that you're passionate about, like accomplishing goals. Like that's something that I set for myself. Is like I'm always happy for myself when I accomplish something that's hard for me.
Mm-hmm.
So like definitely like sitting here and doing this, like this is now like it moved from like that anxiety to happiness now.
Oh, nice. I'm happy about that, and I did check in. So you are no longer anxious.
I'm no longer anxious.
Wow, and you wouldn't
We
even
did
know
it.
how long
Yes.
we've been talking. I'm not gonna tell
No,
you.
no. I was gonna
Well,
wear my watch. I told Andrew that. I was like, I should bring my watch so that way I can like check in on the time. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
well, you're doing a great job, and
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
Um, this next section of the podcast is called "Feel This Way." It's my favorite section. I will say a word, phrase, or statement, and I want you to tell me what emotions, thoughts, and memories it sparks. You ready?
I'm ready.
The first word is tradition.
Oh, so I think of my grandparents and the tradition that I shared with you, like every Christmas Eve, like that we used to get Christmas pajamas because that was something that like my brother and I looked forward to, um, with growing up.
And tradition is very important. Is that
Hmm.
something if I don't want to intrude, or if you do plan or you don't, but if you plan to have kids, is that something tradition something you hope to do?
Yes, definitely. There's definitely things like I feel like all of the holidays were really big
Hmm.
at my house growing up. So like even Easter time, like my grandparents just always hide eggs around the house, and like my grandma would always do this like special thing in the kitchen. Like she would hide a gold egg and a silver egg, and each one had like money in it. And my brother and I would like try to find it, and like he would always be upset because I would always find it and he wouldn't. So it was like an issue every year with that. But so like yes, there's definitely things that I had in my childhood that like I would hope to eventually pass on.
Yeah, tradition is a very powerful thing and can be so beautiful. I had a guest on a couple weeks ago. Her name is Jean Nangwala,
Hmm.
and she told me about like how for their birthdays, like the families would like dance for
Yes, I
their
remember
siblings.
listening to
That's
that.
like
It's beautiful,
right.
absolutely
There's so many
beautiful.
cool, so many different ways cultures celebrate themselves, and I look forward to figuring out more and more things that I can take into myself and pass down through my kids.
Right.
The next word I have is abandonment.
Mm. So I would say that like that makes me think of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely like you got some good words here. Something that challenged. Like I like how
No,
you
I'm
challenged me to think.
thinking a little bit.
Yes. So I will share a story because I know you wanted me to share something before, and maybe I wasn't comfortable then in the moment. But like with my father more specifically. So when I was little, like when I was, I think my grandmother used to tell me this story. I think I was only like maybe 1 years old. He actually tried to steal me, like take me with him to Georgia.
Wow.
Yes. So like that was a story that my grandmother always shared with me. So my grandfather has I mean my father has passed away. So like right after my grandfather passed away, it was like all in a row. So it was my grandmother, my grandfather passed away right after her. So she passed away in July. My grandfather passed away in October because he couldn't live without her. He was heartbroken. And then right after that, my father had passed away. So I think that like that word abandonment definitely makes me think of my father. I had like the privilege of meeting him like twice in my life, and both times that I had met with him, we definitely connected. So like to know that like the distance is really what kept us apart. I think that like I would have had a really good relationship like had he been closer to me. And I think that that's something that was hard for me to process because there also was a lot of like kind of broken promises mixed in there with that. Like he was not always making the best choices as well. But I think like it was hard for me when he passed away because um, he had wanted me to come see him. So he was pretty sick, and he had video called me and was like, "Yeah, like he was on hospice, and he was like, can you please like come see me?" But like I had just taken up a bunch of work because I had lost my grandfather, and I was like, "Okay, like can I really like hop on a flight and go to Georgia right now?" Like, and then like I think like that kind of feeling of guilt, like you mentioned earlier, came into play, and I'm like, okay, like I've really only seen this person like twice in my life. Do I really even know him? Like, do I want to be there? Like, should I be there? Like that, those kind of feelings were just like I don't know, like an overdrive, I guess. So I think I got off the point of
No, you didn't
the
get the point.
question, but like, yeah. So like abandonment, I definitely think of like my parents.
This you had to you had a lot to process.
Yes,
Did you ever go try to process with somebody professional?
I did. Like when I lost my grandmother, I attempted it. I don't think that like it worked out well for me. I think like the person that I was talking to was not the best person for me, and I think that I that's something that I need to like venture out and find a better place for myself. I think that's definitely something that I need. Um,
Because there's so much in there to process, you
yes,
know?
absolutely.
There's so much. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's you don't have any responsibility to him as your dad, but like at the same time, that's your dad, and you had
Right,
all these different ideas in your head of possibilities of what if it was like this or what if it was like
right.
that. And as an adult now, like, how do you feel like understanding like addiction really being a disease, you know?
Right. And I definitely think that that's what it is. And I think growing up, I didn't, I don't know, like I didn't have patience for it. So like I didn't want to, I don't know, like I think I like tried to close off the relationships where now it's like I'm able to look at the bigger picture and I'm like able to see that like, maybe you do care about me, but this is something that's in the way of preventing you in doing so. So like whereas before I'd be like, no, like don't come near me, like don't talk to me. Now I'm more so like, okay, like I'll have a conversation with you, but like I'm not gonna forget what happened. You
Yeah,
know?
and that's growth.
Right.
That's growth. But you had very rough time during COVID. It sounds like.
Yes,
Well, I'm
definitely.
happy that to see you doing well on the other side because things could
Thank you.
always go different ways. And I'm happy that you have people around you that you can identify as your community
Yes.
to check in with, and to be distracted by.
Right.
Sometimes it's one or the other.
Mhm.
The next word I have is baking.
Mhm. So that makes me think of creativity. Like I love to be creative. So like I love to like not only just bake but like make my like baking into a creation.
Mm. Well, did you show Andre the cake that you sent me?
I did.
I think that looks like a good cake.
Yes.
So I think it's going to take some time. Somebody might need to be really creative to have that one done by February 8th.
Yes. I
Just
will
throwing that
absolutely
out there.
start working on that. As long as you are you sure that that's the one that you want and you let me know.
All right, I'm going to get back to you. But I think
Okay.
that's it. I think peanut
Okay.
butter chocolate thing is just where I'm at in my
Okay.
life.
Yes, I know those are your favorite flavors, right? Chocolate and peanut butter.
Yes, ma'am. The next word I have. Oh, well, I don't want to go skip on. How did you get into baking?
So I think I don't I don't know. I feel like I've always done it. It was something that I did with my grandparents. Like definitely not to the extent that I do it now. More like box cake mix back then. But
Mm-hmm.
like every year, like kind of goes off with like what we talked about with tradition. Like my grandmother and I would make a cake like shaped like an Easter bunny. Like she taught me how to like take two like round pans and you cut the ears out of it, and then you have like a little bow that goes at the bottom. So like that was something that I did every year. We used to go buy all different kinds of candy and I would decorate it. So like I feel like I took that and like kind of like took take it to the next level and started doing things like from scratch, not from the box.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cause I think about that. Like I'll tell people like I'll bake cookies here and there, brownies, and then if somebody asks me, "Oh, do you do it from scratch?" And I've only done it from scratch like twice, but like
Right.
I always get offended. I'm like,
It's still good no matter
all
how you
right,
do
it's
it.
like why I gotta do it from scratch?
Right.
Can I say I bake even though I just took it out this box and followed this instruction?
Yes. But it's still like it's the love that you put into it, right?
Nah, but from scratch is different though, and like it almost made me want to buy one of those KitchenAid things because that was
Oh
pretty
yes.
cool.
Mhm.
But the cleanup after, boy,
Oh, see, I don't mind cleaning up.
no, that's not my life.
No.
Um, the next question, next word I have is honesty.
Ooh. So I think when I hear honesty, I think of love. Honestly, like I think like if you're honest with someone and you're trusting that someone's going to be honest with you, like
Hmm.
there's definitely like love and caring and understanding there.
And I respect your honesty.
Of course.
Uh, I I kind of get annoyed at myself saying this every time, but like it is what it is because it was who I was. But like as a reformed people pleaser,
Mhm.
um, I would hold my tongue. I wouldn't say I would be dishonest. I would just not say anything at all.
Right.
And
Right.
I find myself being really drawn towards people that are unapologetically honest. You know,
Mhm.
like it's like yeah, you can be that. You can't just say how you feel and deal with all the bullshit later. Like,
Right.
and that's okay. And the whole really realizing like even with talking with Ashley, like I get so much from talking with the guest on this podcast. Not only I hope that you guys are getting stuff
Oh,
from this
absolutely.
as well, but
Mhm.
like when Ashley said the line that people that people please see conversations as arguments,
Mm.
you know?
Right.
And that's that big change where it's like, no, that's just how that person feels. And once you're comfortable in that regard, it's like, all right.
Mhm. So do you think you're more comfortable now like saying hard things to other people and not holding back?
Oh yeah, it's been way better. It's been way better. It's been much more chaotic. I mean, sometimes
Mhm.
people are gonna want to fight you. Some people are not gonna want to be your friend. You might say things that are gonna make somebody cry, like,
Right.
and that's that part where it's like it sucks, but you gotta get off what you gotta get off.
Mhm.
But there's this book that I read recently that's been really good in regard of helping um, helping me maneuvered that path of being much more forward or
Okay.
just direct.
Mhm.
It's a book called Crucial Conversations. That
Okay.
was given to me by a strategist that works for with me from my company, my job, and it's been an amazing book. I recommend that to anybody that has issues trying to have difficult conversations with anybody, from a
Mhm.
coworker to your parents to your children, anything, you know.
Okay. I'll definitely have to check that out.
And,
Sounds really good.
and that's why where I come from, where it's like understanding, listening is always going to be more important than speaking.
Mhm.
Even if you feel like you don't speak too much, as long as you get yourself informed, and then at some point you obviously know that you need to speak.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
The last word I have is hope.
Mm. So I think like hope makes me think of my classroom because like that's definitely like what I do. Like I hope to go into my classroom every day and take all of my experiences and all of my like knowledge of what I want my students to come out with knowing and like instill that into them.
Okay, that's I like that. I feel the same. So that was the last word that I had.
Oh, perfect.
This was
I'm so hyped. I need it.
a nice sit down.
Yes,
I enjoyed our
definitely.
conversation. I enjoyed you being open and sharing things that are very close to your heart.
Yes, and I appreciate you having such a safe space for me to do so.
No problem. Do you want to mention to the listeners where they can find you, or if you have any upcoming events that you would like them to attend?
I don't think I do. Like I
Nothing.
said, that's something that I need to work on. So
Okay, and you sure you don't want them to follow the dog page?
sure, but I don't really remember the underscore because I just changed it.
Okay, sounds like we're gonna have to put the dog page
Yes,
in the notes.
I will
Okay.
definitely do that. I'll let you know.
I hope you guys tag that, and as we always end the podcast, I'm gonna end it off with a poem. There we go. Somewhere along we lost compassion. Maybe in the moments we spent swiping left or right on possible matches. The idea of opposites attract was quite attractive, though it sowed a seed of countless clashes. You feel you're moving forward, but to them it's backwards. Or maybe we don't give enough time to complete our expose on those that say they've slayed their demons and burned their skeletons to ashes, or the paint to dry on the cracks of an armor we thought was well established. Somewhere along we lost ourselves. Only if I could pinpoint where it happened. We could waze our way around the roadblocks we consider bad acting or gaslit distractions. Maybe arrive in a place signified by more than a checkered flag by those willing to forgive your checkered past. But first we need to forgive you. But first we need you to forgive yourself, because the law of attraction tells me you will only receive yourself. So were those knights and skeletons or just a mirror? Are you refusing to see yourself? That'll explain why you're so lost, aiming to be anything and everything but be yourself. This is something that holds us.